This storm has just gone from bad to worse. Significant flash flooding now in the forecast across portions of the Midwest as we go from Wednesday into Thursday, along with the threat for severe weather as damaging winds, large hail, and tornadoes will also be possible. And we're going to go over a strong cold front that will bring relief from the heat in today's forecast with lower humidity expected as well heading into the upcoming weekend. If you like straightforward, accurate, and reliable weather coverage across southern Canada, the United States, and the tropics, subscribe to my channel, and we have daily forecasts that are going to be coming out on the channel as well. Like the video, give it a thumbs up, and share it with a friend, family member, and on social media. I definitely appreciate it. It was a hot one down here, no joke, across the southern United States this afternoon. Widespread mid-90s to low 100s with some record high temperatures that were broken as well. But you notice the cold front not too far up to the north. It's into the Dakotas, Minnesota, and northern Wisconsin today. That's where we saw highs into the upper 70s to low 80s, but more importantly, lower humidity in those areas. That cold front will be on the move as we go into tomorrow on Wednesday, July 30th. Notice it's bringing more upper 70s to places like Chicago, Des Moines, Omaha, and Lincoln, Nebraska, and lower humidity. Unfortunately, another day of squelching heat across portions of the deep south and into the southeast. But as we go into Thursday and then especially Friday, we're going to see a lot of that cooler air shifting further to the south into areas of Nashville, Memphis, Chattanooga, Little Rock, and Oklahoma City will finally be back into the 80s with lower humidity by the end of this week. And the triple-digit heat will be going away unless you live in the desert southwest, which obviously you're typical to get the triple-digit heat this time of year. Now that heat in the transition from the hot and humid temperatures and conditions to cooler weather with lower humidity does bring the chance for some severe weather. In the yellow, that's where scattered severe thunderstorms will be possible from western Iowa through much of the Cornhusker state of Nebraska, southwestern South Dakota into Wyoming and Montana, and then obviously from the dark green into portions of northern Illinois back there into the Rockies. That's where isolated strong to severe thunderstorms will be possible this evening and overnight. We are monitoring the chance for some damaging wind gusts that could exceed 75 miles per hour up here into portions of the higher elevations of Wyoming, and then from northeast Colorado into southwestern Nebraska. We're also seeing chances for destructive hail into southeastern Montana and northern portions of Wyoming. Hailstones could be up to baseball size in some of these areas through the rest of the evening. But thankfully, the rotation in the atmosphere is at a minimum here this evening. So tornadoes are unlikely. It's less than 2% all across the United States. Heading into tomorrow on Wednesday, July 30th, isolated strong to severe storms possible in the dark green, stretching from Montana again, southward into Wyoming, into Colorado, including the Denver area, and then down here towards portions of the Oklahoma, Texas panhandle, and then from the Midwest into the Ohio Valley and northeast, including the I-95 corridor. Boston, Providence, New York City, back to Pittsburgh there, Indianapolis, Chicago, and even into the Des Moines area. We have the chance for some isolated strong to severe storms on Wednesday. Thankfully, the tornado threat is at a minimum again tomorrow as it's less than 2%. Let's start in the central U.S., then we'll go to the eastern U.S. view, and then the western U.S. view after that. Thunderstorms are starting to blossom across portions of Colorado and moving into Nebraska, western Kansas this evening. These storms will have the potential to produce significant damaging winds in excess of 75 miles per hour from northeast Colorado into southwest Nebraska over the next few hours, also up here into portions of Montana and Wyoming. And then those storms will be cruising eastward into portions of eastern Nebraska, eventually arriving in Iowa, southern Minnesota, and bringing a flash flooding risk with this as well. Major metropolitan areas there of Lincoln, Omaha, and Des Moines could experience some very heavy rainfall as we open the day on Wednesday tomorrow. And then as we go through the day, we're going to see a line of storms moving across Iowa and potentially bringing some severe weather to northern and central Illinois by the peak heating of tomorrow afternoon, 2 to 4 o'clock time frame. Watching out for that west of Chicago, and then for the evening rush could definitely be a noisy one in the Chicagoland area and Milwaukee. Heavy rainfall is also going to take hold as well, with multiple storms moving over the same areas. which is going to raise that flash flooding risk into Thursday morning. Here is the most likely scenario as we see widespread 2 to 4 inches worth of rain from eastern Nebraska through much of the Hawkeye state of Iowa, northern and central Illinois into northern Indiana and southwestern lower Michigan. Widespread 2 to 4 inches with isolated 5 to 6 inches possible. Worst case scenario, the UK Met model is actually showing eastern Iowa, much of northern Illinois north of I-80, and northwestern Indiana seeing widespread 5 to 8 inch totals with a foot possible in isolated instances. Now, this would be the worst case scenario, but definitely something to keep an eye on with the trends in the models over the next day or so. In the eastern United States, we got some thunderstorms roaming the landscape from the Carolinas down into Georgia and the Sunshine State of Florida as well. That will continue over the next few hours, but as the sun sets, we're going to lose the daytime heating and we're going to lose the coverage and intensity of those storms as well. After midnight, a lot of us will be dry, and then as we start the day, pretty dry tomorrow outside of a shower in northern Maine, and then we're going to see some more storms popping up during the peak heating of the day during the afternoon and evening, especially across the southeast eastern U.S. Again, similar areas, the Carolinas, Georgia, Mississippi, Alabama, and Florida, with some locally heavy downpours with those storms. And you can see there could be areas of over an inch or two of rainfall. There will be other areas that barely see a drop of rain. It's just kind of the nature of these thunderstorms as we go through the next day or so. In the western U.S., we got a lot of thunderstorms over here as well across the Rockies. Monsoonal flow from New Mexico up into Colorado and Wyoming. Some of those storms, as we mentioned earlier on in Wyoming and into Montana, could produce some big hail and some strong wind gusts. That will be exiting, pushing to the east into the plains as we go into overnight tonight. And starting off Wednesday, pretty quiet across much of the western United States. And as we go into the afternoon, we're going to activate that monsoonal moisture once again and see scattered to numerous coverage of showers and storms from Montana all the way southward into New Mexico, even a few showers and storms from Northern California into Nevada, Oregon, and Idaho as well. And again, rainfall totals will be heaviest in the central and especially the eastern Rockies here. We're talking southeastern Montana, eastern portions of Wyoming and Colorado, and getting into eastern New Mexico with the heaviest rainfall totals over an inch through Thursday morning at 7 a.m. Now, going into Thursday, July 31st, to round out the month, well, severe weather is not expected anywhere across the United States. The reason being is a strong cold front will bring a lot less humidity and a lot less storm energy to the United States by the end of the week, but there still will be thunderstorms around. We got the chance for some heavier showers and storms on Thursday from the Midwest, but especially into the Ohio Valley and Mid-Atlantic up into the Northeast. Friday, thunderstorm risk is more scattered from the southern plains like Texas and Oklahoma over across Dixie Alley and into the Carolinas. And then as we go into the weekend, Saturday, Sunday, there could be some isolated northwest flow thunderstorms in the plains, bringing a small hail risk, but definitely seeing a lot of moisture down here into the southeast, and that could bring some flooding rains into the weekend. Now, looking at the long range into next week, Monday, August 4th through Friday, August 8th, big ridge of high pressure building across the desert southwest and nosing its way eastward into the Red River Valley of the southern plains will promise warmer temperatures. Now, after our cool front comes through, we'll have a few days of relief from the heat and humidity, but once we head into next week, we're going to be seeing that come right back in with vengeance and potentially seeing temperatures that are 20 degrees above normal down here into Arizona, New Mexico, Colorado, and West Texas, and these are dry areas, so our heat will be surging the 90s and 100-degree temperatures further up to the north, even into Kansas by the time we get to next week. Now, we also have to watch the trajectory of this ridge and where that sets up the edge of the heat, because that's where thunderstorm clusters will begin to fester. So as we see that cold front dropping south here through the rest of this week, that will bring some relief in the form of some rain-cooled air, some thunderstorms down across the deep south and into the southeast. As we go into next week, though, we're going to start to see that shifting further up to the north again, and including more of the Dakotas, Minnesota, Iowa, Wisconsin, Illinois, Indiana, and Ohio, and even Michigan as well. And you can see the browns down here, a lot of the desert southwest, the southern and the central plains, and over here into Dixie Alley will begin to dry out again as that ridge, the center of it, is across your area. So that is something to keep an eye on. We do have a heavy rainfall risk as well as we go into the first week of August, especially August 6th and 7th. If you live across the upper Midwest, the Great Lakes or Ohio Valley, there could be a risk for some very heavy rainfall, which could cause some flooding, but also some severe weather with a derecho risk as we go into the first week of August. A derecho is a fast-moving line of thunderstorms. Like we saw last night, that was a derecho moving across Iowa with widespread damaging winds of 58 miles per hour or greater. In extreme instances, derechos can produce wind gusts of 100 miles per hour or greater, hail, tornadoes, and flooding all included with that as well. Before we go, let's talk about the tropics in the Atlantic. The National Hurricane Center in Miami, Florida is not expecting tropical cyclone activity across anywhere in the Atlantic basin over the next 7 days. However, it is a stark contrast in the East and Central Pacific basins as we have Hurricane Iona that was a Category 3 hurricane just south of Hawaii. We also have Tropical Storm Kelly and then a couple more storms behind that, 2 to 3 of them that could deform into either tropical storms or hurricanes in the coming 7 days. So that is a very active Pacific Ocean out there, that is for sure. If you enjoyed today's forecast, make sure to give it a like, share it with a friend, family member, and on social media, and importantly, subscribe to the channel as we do daily weather forecast breakdowns right here on the channel. We'll have another video forecast out for you tomorrow on Wednesday, including the threat for flooding, severe weather, and talking about the cold front and the tropics as well. So make sure to turn on post notifications so you're notified for future videos that I do on the channel. Also, if you have any comments, questions, and concerns, make sure to jot that down in the comment section down below this video. I'm here 24/7, all day, all night to answer any and all comments, questions, and concerns that you may have. Thank you all for watching. Thanks for the support, and have a wonderful and safe rest of your Tuesday out there.